Welcome, aspiring shadow warriors of the digital age. Today, we are not just going to learn about cybersecurity, we're going to master its ancient arts. We're going to take all that confusing technical jargon and sharpen it into the clear, deadly edge of a ninja's blade.
Yeah, this is really our guiding principle here. The digital world, it's a battlefield. And on that battlefield, knowledge is your single greatest weapon. So let's let this idea guide us as we master every technique and strategy. You know, if you've ever felt like you're trying to read some ancient coded scroll when you see acronyms like these, you are definitely not alone. It feels like this specialized language is intentionally complex, almost like a high wall meant to keep newcomers out. But not today. Today, we scale that wall. Think of this explainer as your dojo, the place where we turn these complex terms into clear, actionable intelligence. Your training? Well, it begins right now.
A ninja's first skill is always perception. You have to understand how your adversary thinks, how they move, long before you can ever hope to defend against them. So we begin with the arts of deception.
Okay, so picture this. A hidden trap on a forest path, baited with something that looks just a little too good to be true. This right here is the very essence of phishing. The enemy isn't going to attack you head on. They're going to trick you into walking right into their trap.
And that's exactly what phishing is. It's a social engineering attack where an adversary puts on a disguise. They pretend to be a trustworthy entity, like your bank or maybe even your boss, and they trick you. They're not hacking a system. No, they're hacking your trust to make you willingly give up your secrets.
All right, now let's picture a totally different tactic. Instead of a subtle little trap, the enemy sends 1,000 false messengers to the castle gates, all at once. They create so much chaos and noise that nobody legitimate can get through. It's a total siege.
This is a DDoS attack, which stands for Distributed Denial of Service. Now, the goal here isn't to break in. It's just to make a service completely unavailable by drowning it in traffic. And that distributed part, that's the real kicker. The flood of requests comes from thousands of compromised computers at once, which makes it incredibly difficult to block.
So now that we've recognized the enemy's tactics, we turn to our own defenses. See, a ninja's stronghold isn't just a single wall, it's a series of clever layered defenses. Let's take a look at how we can build our own digital fortress. This whole principle is called defense in depth, and the idea is pretty simple. If one defense fails, another one is waiting right behind it. So an attacker might get past your outer wall, your firewall, but then they have to deal with segmented networks. If they somehow breach a network, well, they face host security. And if they get past all of that, the treasure itself is locked away with encryption.
Now, what if our fortress is up in the clouds? The principles are exactly the same. With infrastructure as a service, or IaaS, you're basically renting the mountain peak and building your fortress from scratch. With platform as a service, PaaS, the foundations are already built for you. And with software as a service, SaaS, you're just living in a fully completed castle that someone else manages.
So how do we connect our different fortresses across the dangerous open lands of the internet? We use a VPN, a virtual private network. The best way to think of it is as a secret armored tunnel. It creates a secure, encrypted connection right over a public network, making all your communications invisible to anyone who might be trying to spy on you. All right, a fortress is one thing, but it's pretty useless without skilled guardians and secret codes. This is where we deploy our active tools, the techniques for controlling who gets in and how we protect our messages.
Every gate has to have a guardian, right? And that guardian follows a very strict protocol we call AAA. It might sound simple, but it's a single, powerful system made of 3 crucial parts that all work together to control access. So, the AAA framework is a 3-step process. First, authentication. That's just proving who you are, like showing your ID. Next is authorization, which determines what you're allowed to do, like checking if your keycard opens this specific door. And finally, there's accounting, which tracks what you did, logging when you entered and what you accessed. Every secure system out there relies on this. Now, for our secret messages. With symmetric encryption, both the sender and the receiver use the exact same key, kind of like a shared clan secret. It's super fast and simple. But asymmetric encryption, that's a whole different beast. It uses 2 keys, a public one that acts like an open lock anyone can use to send you a message, and a private one that only you have to unlock it. But wait a second. How do you actually trust that a public key really belongs to the person you think it does? Well, that's where PKI, or public key infrastructure, comes in.
Think of it as the government office that issues official passports. PKI is the trusted system that issues and manages these digital certificates, verifying identities so we can all trust our secure communications.
And this brings us to a critical lesson. A ninja's training is never truly complete. The final stage is a lifelong commitment to vigilance, constantly watching for threats and knowing exactly what to do when the battle is joined.
I want you to think of a SIM system as the central watchtower of your entire digital fortress. It pulls in security information and event logs from all across your network, all into one place. And from that high vantage point, it gives you real-time analysis, helping you spot the signs of an attack as it's happening. And when an attack is spotted from that watchtower, you don't panic. You follow your battle protocols. We call this incident response. It all starts with preparation, long before any fight. When an alarm sounds, you identify the breach. Then you contain it to stop the bleeding. Next, you eradicate the threat completely, recover your systems to get back to normal, and finally, you study the battle to learn the lessons that will make your fortress even stronger. So, what's the core wisdom you should take away from your training today? First, master those essential acronyms we covered, from DDoS to CM. Really understand the core concepts of deception like phishing and fortification like defense in depth. And finally, memorize the 6-step path of incident response. This is your foundation as a cyber ninja. And this is the ultimate truth of our craft. The threat landscape is always shifting. New tactics are emerging from the shadows every single day. You can't possibly memorize every possibility. The true goal is to cultivate a mindset of readiness, of adaptability. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. Your training has just begun. The true test of a cyber ninja isn't what they know, but in their ability to adapt, to learn, and to anticipate. So how will you stay vigilant and continue to sharpen your skills for the challenges that are still out there, waiting in the shadows? Study well.